Relationship advice. Update. My girlfriend likes me to go by different names. Original post. To make this a bit easier to read, my name is Jason. My girlfriend and I have been together for 1 year, and for the past 6 months we've done a mini vacation at least once a month. We go to another city, usually within a 5-hour drive for the weekend, and rent the most expensive hotel room we can afford. This usually leads to the wildest intercourse because we don't know anyone there. In the past 4 months, we've gone on 5 mini vacations, and every time, she wanted me to go by a different name. It's always been the same name, Matt Blank. I figured this was just a fantasy name, and went along with it. She's done things with Matt that she's never done with Jason. Matt took her first time backdoor and first time deep-throat. If I bring it up to her, that Jason want to try those things with her, she says she's not that type of girl. She's pretty vanilla when we are at home, which I won't complain about. I never needed to have backdoor action or be deep-throated, but now that I know it's an option, I feel like I'm missing out. Here's the kicker, I had to pick her up from work a few days ago, and walked into her office to look for her. This was the first time I had been to her office. I spoke to the secretary to ask where she was, and started on my way there. As we were leaving, her coworkers came to introduce themselves to me. From down the hall I see this guy coming towards all of us, and he says something along the lines of, "Hi, I'm Matt Blank, SVP of Marketing." After we finished talking to everyone, we went to the car. I waited for her to say something, but she never did. I don't know what to say to her or if there is anything to say. I feel really uncomfortable, and I see our many vacations in a completely different light now. Is this something I should be worried about or is it normal? Now for the top advice before reading the update. Fantasy is fine, but this seems messed up in a non-consensual way. Like she's using you as a proxy or something. To me, it sounds like she's using you to live out her fantasies with other guys. Do you mean using me in a bad way, or using me in a good way? Bad. It looks like she wants to imagine she's effing someone else. That's super messed up. Like really messed up. Like not okay at all. Literally my exact feelings as well. I'm kinky as F, and this screams danger to me. Yeah, I'd be out. It's like she's cheating on you, with you. And now for the update. I want to start off by saying thank you to everyone who responded. After I made my post, I waited 2 days to say anything to her, because I wanted to get as much input as possible. I also took that time to prepare myself to separate. I started reading comments right after I posted. I replied to a few, but after so many telling me that she was cheating on me with me, I started to feel sick. I called my boss to ask for Friday off for personal reasons. I spent the day driving around, looking for potential apartments. We don't live together, but I wanted to make sure if things went bad, she'd have a harder time finding me. We also have some good memories in that apartment, and I think I would be sad if I had to continue to live there. This brings us to Saturday, the day I promised myself I would say something. I invited her over for breakfast, but instantly regretted it because I was getting so nervous that I completely lost my appetite. She walked in the door and instantly knew something was different. I was hoping to ease into it, but I ended up blurting out, "I met Matt Blank." She tried to act casual about it, but I could tell she didn't expect me to know about him. For the next 3 or so minutes, things were calm. I talked about how I see the past 4 months completely differently. She started to cry and say she was sorry. I don't mean some tears, but full-on ugly crying. I told her I'm going to work on forgiving her, because if I don't, I think it will eat me up inside. I won't forget what happened, but I'll at least try to move on. She started to talk about how she'll work on building my trust again. I interrupted her by saying that isn't necessary, as we were no longer together. If I wasn't so emotionally crushed, I would have been amazed at the transition. She started begging me to give her another chance. I stood up and went to my room to grab a few boxes of all the gifts she gave me. I told her that I had already made up my mind to break up with her. After some back and forth, she realized that I was serious. I knew the exact moment she knew I was serious because she went from crying to yelling. It started off with insults, and when that didn't work, she tried throwing the truth in my face to hurt me. It started off that I was fat, ugly, lazy, stupid, and I had a useless job. In the middle of her tirade, she said Matt's D was way bigger than mine. As she was yelling at me, she ended up saying what happened between the two of them. I'll summarize below. She started sleeping with Matt 3 years ago. They were on some sort of work trip and ended up drunkenly sleeping together. From there, it went from once in a while to once a week. Matt called things off 4 months ago because he met a girl. I think she was using the vacations because she missed being with Matt. I don't really remember the rest of Saturday. I spent Sunday with my friends, which helped. I told them what happened, which was nice to get off my chest. I went to work as normal yesterday. At some point in the day she slipped a note under my door. I'm not sure what it said because I burned it. Now for some top comments. I'm not sure what it said because I burned it. Lots of authors would kill for that sort of dramatic flair. OP is more badass than Jaime Lannister because he didn't even read the letter before burning it. So, if you are fat, ugly, lazy, stupid, and have a useless job, why does she want you back so badly? Keep walking. Better question, if she had been with Matt for 3 years and he only called it off a few months ago, why bother getting with OP a year ago if he's so subpar? Sounds like OP is dodging a major bullet, figuring this out now rather than years down the line. Good for him for handling it as well as he did. If it makes you feel any better, OP, I'd like to point out a relevant coincidence from my own life. Any woman who has ever been committed to or infatuated with me will swear I've got an enormous peen. Any woman who has ever been enraged at or hurt by me will swear her ex-boyfriend had a giant magic peen. At this point in my life, I tend to believe neither. LOL, I remember reading in Cosmo when I was about 13, that if a guy has an average peen, tell him it's huge. If he has a small peen, tell him it's the perfect fit. Edit, I read all these comments and now I feel like an a-hole. Guys, size literally does not matter. As Cosmo advice goes, this statement is utter BS, I promise. My significant other is more than average, and I've still told him things like he's the perfect fit, because it's true. He hits just the right spot. I tell him often that it's almost like he was made for me. If you hear this from another woman, even if it's because you're small, at least acknowledge that she is into you, wants to bed you, and wants you to feel good and confident about it. Also, please understand that the size of your penis far, far, far down the list of actual attributes women care about, generally speaking. Personally, I've never turned down a guy because he was too small, but most certainly have turned down dudes who were too big. But here's something Cosmo won't tell you, because they hate women for some reason. Stop being so concerned about your equipment. P&V action is probably the least efficient way to get your girl to climax. Find the nub, learn about the nub, become best friends with the nub. Ask your girl to show you how she pleasures herself, and take notes. Take time with foreplay, and be prepared and enthusiastic to help her get off if you finish first. I would rather bet a man with a micro equipment who understood this, than a giant D-Jack hammering me to death. Now for the next story. Update. My 29 male wife, 27 female, has been working from home the past few months and has started having her high school ex over a lot. I told her this is unacceptable. Original post. Hey everyone. I know that the title may sound confusing without the background that I am about to give. So ever since COVID started, my wife has been working from home. My job never let us do that, so I have still been driving to work every day. She has a friend that she occasionally hangs out with. He's been invited to hang out with both of us before too. He's nice, fun to hang around and pretty cool. I've had no problem with this. My wife made me aware pretty early on that she dated him in high school. She said that they dated their freshman and sophomore year. They never slept together but did mess around. They started reconnecting as friends during their senior year. At that time, he had a girlfriend and she was starting to see another guy as well. She claims that after they broke up, there was never anything romantic between them again. When COVID started, my wife said that she would be able to work from home. I was glad and happy for her, as I knew it'd be easier and even save gas. She said that her friend was going to be able to work from home too, so they may meet up sometimes to go over their work and help each other. They both work in a similar field. One day, I came home and noticed that he was there. I thought nothing of it really, as my wife had told me about this. They both had their computers and like they were working pretty hard. For a while, it was like this. Suddenly a few weeks in, I would come home and they would casually be hanging out and having fun. Sometimes they would be playing a game, sometimes they would be drinking, sometimes they would be eating. I started finding this a little bit weird. It seemed as though he was getting more attention than me, and that she was having a better time with him than me. Then one day when I came home, it was the final straw. They were both on the couch and her head was in his lap while they were watching TV. I waited until he left and then had a talk with her. I was fuming. I yelled at her and told her that their actions have been unacceptable, and that there's no reason that she should be laying with a friend like that. I expressed how I felt like she has been showing him more attention than her husband, and that it seemed like they were having more fun together than we do. Not to mention that they had dated before and fooled around. She got really upset, and said I had no right to tell her that she can no longer hang around someone. She was mad that I seemed to claim that she was cheating on me with him, and swore that she was not and would not do that. She said that all they were doing was relaxing, and that it was not wrong to lay her head on his lap. The last 2 days he has not been at the house when I got home. She says that she has not seen him since our talk. I apologized for being so angry about it. She doesn't seem like she has really accepted my apology, as she has been really quiet around me ever since. How do I make things better? Is she cheating? How do I handle things between her and this friend? Now for the top comments before reading the update. I agree with you. When you said they had computers out and were working hard, I felt it seemed innocent enough. However, a woman putting her head in some guy's lap? No. Boundaries are being crossed. It is not appropriate and she knows it. Would she be okay if the situation was reversed? Thank you. I don't like how everyone is automatically saying that it's wrong that the guy is over there in the first place. Sure, it's weird that they dated, but that was very many years ago. I had no problem when they were working. But what they did was taking it too far. Set up a hidden SSID, and at least one wireless camera and tape over/disable the camera light. You are not going to like what you find. I would probably go with this option. Better safe than sorry. That's not okay, she's not respecting your relationship. Her head shouldn't be in his lap at all, and it should make you uncomfortable since they used to have a relationship. If the roles were reversed and you had an ex's head in your lap, she would also be uncomfortable. Her getting mad at you for questioning it is gaslighting to the situation and you. I wouldn't put my head in a guy's lap if I didn't feel some type of chemistry. It's definitely flirty. I think you guys need to discuss boundaries. It's important that you guys agree on what you consider to be okay and not okay. If she thinks that type of behavior with an ex is acceptable and you don't, then things may not work. I would see where things go, and what she does next. Her actions will speak louder than words. If these situations keep occurring though, it may be time to rethink if this is someone you want to be with. I realize that I may have yelled at her too much and too quickly. I should have discussed the boundaries first. She may think it's completely okay to lay her head in his lap. And now for the update. So last week, I posted here about my wife spending time at our house with an old ex that she used to have from high school. He had been coming over and working from home with her, ever since COVID started. At first, I thought nothing of it as they were just simply helping each other with their work. Then they started to hang out and stuff more. When I caught her laying down with her head in his lap, I had enough. I told her he could no longer come over. She was mad and took offense to this, but agreed. Most people here agreed with me that it was sketchy for her to do this. I was made aware that he could still be coming over during the day, and leaving before I get there. I ended up buying a camera that I could set up and hide while I am at work. I put one in the living room and one in the bedroom. The first day they were set up, I saw nothing unusual. The second day was when it happened. The ex came over. At first, they were just working, but then he started to get pretty touchy with her. It progressed until they ended up going to our bedroom and sleeping together. I was shocked. I wasn't sure what to do. As soon as I saw my wife again, I questioned her if she had been seeing him anymore. She denied it. I told her that I had cameras installed in the house. Her face changed completely then. She knew what I had seen. She immediately started crying. I told her to leave the house. She tried to apologize and explain, but I wasn't having any of it. Since then, we have talked to each other once. I told her that I don't see how anything can happen besides a divorce. She said she doesn't want that, and asked if I would go to couples counseling one time before making that final decision. I reluctantly agreed. I don't expect it to work, and I'm mainly doing it to humor her. I'm still looking and trying to contact divorce attorneys as I'm typing this. Now for some closing comments. I'm really sorry this happened to you. I wish people could be honest and truthful the first time they are asked before evidence is released. Thank you. Me too. It seems like lying and delaying telling the truth just makes it harder on both people. People lie about affairs, because they want it both ways. She wanted to stay married, but she also wanted to dork around with this guy. These are the worst type of people. I'd have more respect for her if she was like, I met someone else and just ended it. But cheaters rarely do that, because they want it all. This. My ex of years ago did this to me several times. She cheated on me 3 times during our relationship, and each time, it was the same thing. Several commenters in this thread. OP, you're her safe bet in her mind. Please do not let this be her reality. Do not do what I did and believe every excuse, and every time she tells you that she wants to work through it, or it won't happen again. If she was okay with hurting you and violating this trust once, she will definitely do it again. First of all, get tested for STDs. Her friend might not be exclusive with your wife. Secondly, so sorry about the demise of your marriage. Because even if you go to counseling and decide not to divorce her, the marriage is over. It was over the first time she broke her vow to you to forsake all others. Now you know she's an unfaithful, deceitful liar that can look right into your face and demand apologies from you for having perfectly normal suspicions. How could you ever trust her again? Keep looking for that lawyer. Therapy is great to air out all your anger, distrust, and resentments in a controlled environment. It's not up to her or you anymore. Unfortunately, the trust is broken, and if you aren't willing to give her another chance and are set in stone that you want a divorce, this is a good place to start that. Some couples get over this. I'm not at all saying this is yours, however, it could. If you decide to walk that path, be ready to accept the infidelity, move in and never look back. This therapy will be able to allow you to deal with your emotions. Both yours and your wife, or ex-wife. This is very important, because you will be able to build healthy future relationships. Definitely didn't get tested for STDs. Wishing you the best of luck now in this new journey, and in life. And that's it for this video, guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day, everyone.